A Hong Kong delegation leaves for Thailand to discuss job scam and abduction cases. And U.S. Special Counsel Jack Smith resigns. Good evening, and thank you for joining us. Undersecretary for Security Michael Chirk is leading a delegation to Thailand to follow up on the string of alleged job scam and abduction cases involving victims from Hong Kong. The Security Bureau has so far received 28 reports of such cases. 12 people are still overseas, allegedly being detained illegally, but they can still stay in contact with their family and the relevant task force. The delegation, comprising representatives from the Security Bureau, Police and the Immigration Department, set off for Bangkok this evening. Undersecretary for Security Michael Chirk said Thai authorities have shown much concern to the cases and would arrange Thai officials to meet with them. He said the ultimate goal is to bring all abducted Hong Kong residents back home. The Security Bureau says 7 men and 5 women aged between 21 and 43 remained detained illegally after being lured overseas. On Monday, the delegation will meet representatives of the Chinese embassy in Thailand, the Thai Ministry of Justice, and the relevant committee on anti-human trafficking activities. They will meet Thai police on Tuesday. In view of the rise in cases of Hong Kong residents allegedly being lured to Southeast Asian countries and detained to undertake illegal work, the police and the Immigration Department have joined forces in reminding citizens traveling overseas to step up precaution. This woman says she will not consider traveling to Thailand, citing safety concerns. This man just came back from Thailand. He said he would turn on the GPS services when taking a taxi in case he's driven elsewhere. As the SAR government is leading a delegation to Thailand to follow up on the cases, some family members of the victims from Hong Kong expressed gratitude for the efforts. They include Mary here. Fighting to contain her emotion, Mary said they could finally see a glimmer of hope and hope the governments of Thailand and Hong Kong, as well as the central government in Beijing, will help ordinary folks like them who are powerless in matters as such. Another family member of the victim said his loved one has been stripped of freedom for nearly half a year in Myanmar. They sought help from the Security Bureau, the police and the Immigration Department, all to no avail at the time. But they hope it's not too late now. Kelvin here said at least the government is making an effort proactively and is leading a team there this time. While some of the family members of the victims said the recent cases of release have been encouraging, they sincerely hope they can reunite with their loved ones before the Chinese New Year holidays. Andy Yu, former vice chairman of the Yau Chi Mong District Council, has been assisting families of 7 Hong Kong victims being held hostage at these camps.
The family will welcome the decision of the making from the government. At least the government do more thing or more active to try to save the Hong Kong people back. And even though they go they have a plan to Thailand and have a cooperation with the Thai government. I think the most or the important factor in this area should be the free government to work together.
Yu said the SAR government could try to improve communication with Thailand over these cases, noting some family members of the victims are still unsure if they should pay the ransom right away or wait for more assistance from authorities first. In South Korea, the lawyer for impeached President Yoon Suk-yeol said his client will not attend Tuesday's first hearing of his trial because of safety concerns. Rallies for and against Yoon continue in the capital, Seoul, more than 6 weeks since his short-lived martial law decree. His lawyer said it is not safe for Yoon to attend the hearing because of the threat of arrest. The lawyer said the country's anti-corruption agency, the CIO, and police are trying to carry out an illegal and invalid arrest of his client. CIO officers tried to detain Yoon on January 3rd at his official presidential residence, but were thwarted by the president's own security service. They are planning a second attempt. The Constitutional Court is set to decide whether to remove Yoon or reinstate him over his ill-fated martial law declaration. The black boxes of a Boeing jetliner that crashed in South Korea last month stopped recording about 4 minutes before the accident, investigators say. The disaster in the southern town of Muan on December 29th killed 179 people, with the cause yet unknown. The U.S. National Transportation Safety Board, or NTSB, said the flight data and cockpit voice recorders stopped working about 4 minutes before the crash. The pilot of the Jeju Air Boeing 737-800 reported a burst strike, and a few minutes later, the plane belly landed and overshot the runway, exploding into flames after hitting an embankment. 2 of the 181 people on board survived. South Korea officials sent the 2 black boxes to the NTSB after realizing that some of the data was missing. Jack Smith, the special counsel who led 2 criminal cases against Donald Trump, has resigned. Smith failed in his attempts to bring to court 2 of 4 federal cases against the U.S. president-elect. One related to hoarding classified documents. The other was over election interference. 3 Trump-appointed judges blocked the cases, which were then closed after Trump's election win. Trump always said he did nothing wrong and the charges against him were manufactured by political opponents. And still ahead, Germany's Social Democrats picks Olaf Scholz for chancellor candidate again. The coldest day so far this winter. And a new batch of graduates from the Strive and Rise program. Welcome back. Demonstrations overshadowed and delayed a far-right election convention in Germany, with 5 weeks until Germans vote in a federal election. Roads were blocked and thousands lined the streets, shouting angrily as Alternative for Germany warmed up for February's vote. Current Chancellor Olaf Scholz is facing an uphill battle to remain in power, but was confirmed as his party's candidate. David Garrett reports.
Barriers to keep away protesters. Peaceful disharmony, but sentiment clear. Stop the far right in Germany. Police on hand as more left-wing demonstrators arrived in Saxony. More flags waved outside the Alternative for Germany conference in their stronghold in eastern Germany. People climbing over each other to get on camera and shout slogans. Earlier there had been disruption. Police had to remove this human barricade, which delayed the start of the AfD meeting by 2 hours. Others gathered to bang drums to get their message across. Inside the auditorium, thumping applause as Alice Weidel became the AfD candidate for Chancellor. Elections are in 5 weeks. She stood with co-leader Tino Kruppala as both took party acclaim. Weidel spoke, thanking the party for ratifying her and saying she defied a left-wing mob to get in. She told AfD delegates her campaign is for our party, country and children, for a strong, secure and rich Germany. Tech billionaire Elon Musk endorsed Weidel after a web chat, prompting a debate in Germany about whether the opinion of the world's richest man matters. This audience likes her too. Applause and German flags waving as Weidel finished her acceptance speech. Most analysts say she won't win. Predictions put her at about 20% of the vote, and other parties will not work with the far right in any coalition. The Conservative Union bloc, currently in opposition, lead polls on 30 points, with Friedrich Merz favourite to become Chancellor next month. If that happens, Merz will replace
Olaf Scholz, der Kanzlerkandidat.
Olaf Scholz, confirmed as the nominee for leader by the Social Democrats, who raise hands to endorse the campaign of the current Chancellor. Scholz emerged smiling, but he has terrible opinion ratings, as low as 14%. The leader's fragile left-wing coalition collapsed in November, prompting elections. Scholz knows he needs to stage a political recovery to win. Outlining his vision for Germany's future, he told the party he's recovered before. The country can continue to go well, Scholz says. We can win in difficult times. Referring to a turnaround in the 2021 election, he said, once again, we will surprise the people. Let's fight. We will win. David Garrett, TVB News.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is sending the director of Mossad to negotiations aimed at ending the war with Hamas in Gaza. In a sign of progress, Netanyahu announced his plan in a statement, which says David Barnea will head to talks in Doha to continue advancing a deal to release our hostages. The decision came after conversations with the outgoing and incoming U.S. administrations. Qatar and Egypt have mediated talks during the 15-month conflict. Scuffles broke out and police had to carry away protesters as these angry Israelis again demanded that their government get a deal done to bring Hamas-held hostages home. Weekly demonstrations continue over Netanyahu's handling of the war. Back locally, the cold weather warning is in effect. The mercury dropped to 11 degrees Celsius at the observatory this morning, the coldest so far this winter. So some braved the chill and took a dip in the water in the early morning. The temperatures plunged to single digits in some districts. At Tai Mo Shan, it was around 2 degrees Celsius. The observatory says it will be cloudier and slightly warmer over the coming 1 to 2 days. The graduation ceremony for students involved in the second round of the Strive and Rise program was held at the Kai Tak Sports Park. Several graduates pointed out how the program directed them towards a clearer path in life and assisted them in realizing their goals. Timothy Lee tells us more.
Crowds packed the Kai Tak Arena this afternoon as families, friends, and mentors of some 4,000 students participating in the second round of the Strive and Rise program eagerly awaited their graduation ceremony. Officiating at the event, Chief Secretary for Administration Eric Chen mentioned the increase of mainland student tours offered by the program, including locations such as Yunnan, Sichuan, and Wuhan. He added that more of the city's youth were able to directly experience the nation's development this way. Some students also shared how the program's mentors, who offered guidance via sharing their life experiences, helped build their self-confidence and find their place in the world. This student said he joined a lot of activities where he bonded with different mentors and fellow mentees and learned more about fiscal responsibility and livelihood-related issues. While this student said she was inspired by her mentor to study accounting in the future and learned a lot about the field by acquiring first-hand experience at an accounting firm. Several graduates of the Strive and Rise program today said they're pleased with mentors provided by the government, adding that they offered priceless advice on financial management and the advancement of personal goals. Most students in the second round of the Strive and Rise program come from underprivileged families. They took part in the one-year-long program where they were paired with specific mentors who helped them set plans for their future goals. As of now, more than 10,000 people have enrolled in the program. Timothy Lee, TVB News.
And that's the news. Have a nice week ahead.